Sophie, before you introduce yourself and your background, I want to ask a few questions of you. Are you ready for that? A few questions. All I want you to do, all you get to do is answer true, false, or not sure. Okay? Are you ready?
Yeah, I think so.
She's terrified of it. Totally terrified. Okay, the first one should be an easy one. My body consists of more than 25% microplastics.
False.
False. We are 100% sure that microplastics, microfibers are harmful to the environment.
Are you sure?
We are 100% sure that microplastics, microfibers are harmful to human health.
We assume we're not 100% sure.
So that would be not sure. The apparel and textile industry is responsible for a significant number of microfibers now found in waterways and oceans.
True.
We have solutions today to fix the problem.
Nearly there.
Okay, that wasn't one of the answers allowed.
No.
I said the scientist in you doesn't want to give the black and white answer. Okay, so who are you, Sophie? Why are you here today? Why are you talking about this?
Why am I talking about it? I'm a self-confessed textile geek, really. I have a background in textile design and then textile technology, but I've spent the last 20 odd years working in the textile industry, predominantly in textile innovation around sustainability. So yeah, textiles through and through, really.
And so how did you become interested in this particular topic?
I think there was a frustration when I first started listening to what was happening from a research level. There was a lot of talk around, fleece fabrics and polyester fabrics and, how we could put things in the washing machine to stop them affecting the environment. And I just thought, well, if we get back to the textile science and understand how we put these fabrics together, we can really start to engineer things differently. But the interest from the industry at the time wasn't there. There was a lot of fear, there was a lot of, there was denial about what was actually happening. So I really started to get involved to dig deeper and really try and find the answers for myself. And it's been quite a fascinating journey since then, really.
So why do you think the microfiber, microplastic sort of topic has got more attention during the last few years?
Yeah, that's a really interesting one, because when I first started, I did a piece of crowdfunding to actually raise awareness and raise funding to do the work, and at the time it was really difficult to get that attention because people were really interested in big plastic things that they could see, plastic bags in the ocean, plastic bottles, and it wasn't really until Blue Planet 2 came out.
Blue Planet 2, which is a
BBC documentary program, and people started to talk more and more about it, and I think then there was more openness to understand that it could actually be something invisible, such as a tiny microfiber that you can't really see, by the human eye, that was actually just as harmful as the big plastic bags and plastic bottles that we see floating in the ocean.
Right, but my own experience is that both of those issues have increased in awareness dramatically, right? Just the pictures that you see on social media about the plastics in the ocean and the cleanup attempts have really transformed people's understanding of what we're doing to the oceans. But I'm not so sure from my own experience that people who are not working with sustainability in the textile industry are aware of microplastics or microfibers.
I think there's less. I think the cosmetics industry was quite helpful for us here because they had the ban on microbeads before us, and that's something that people could really relate to. They could understand it from the products in their bathroom, their cosmetics, etc. So that was a really good starting point for us to go in and say, actually, if you think about the cosmetics industry, what we're trying to do is the same here in the clothing industry, and that was my angle into this. And we had a lot of stats, we had policy, we had things behind it that we could really take as a starting point. And also, my feeling was that the larger items you can collect more easily. And it wasn't until I was walking along the beach one day and I was picking up litter, and the plastic bits were getting smaller and smaller until they were no different to the size of a grain of sand. And at that point, I realised that if we think about it in the textile industry, those microfibers that are coming out are so small that we can't pick them out from the sea. We can't go down and do a beach clean and pull them out.
So can you then help us understand more specifically what this is? So what are microfibers? How do you define them?
Microfibers, this is a really quite difficult one to explain, because I think what happened is when we talk about the term microfibres in this sense, we're talking about small pieces of microplastics that are coming out of garments. And it's a title that's been given to something by non-textile people. In the textile industry, we use the term microfibres to define a synthetic fibre that's less than 1 denier or decitex and having a diameter of less than 10 micrometers. So that's a very specific textile technology term. When we talk to the suppliers, that is what they understand. So then when we come in and we talk about this problem, which is microfibres coming out of textile clothing, there's a lot of confusion. And I think at the moment we're at that stage where, you know, it's almost a little bit too late to redefine the title of what we're trying to understand here. But in a way, we need to think about that title because it's very misleading.
So are we using it wrong? So in textiles, when you speak about microfibers, that's a very specific a measurement. Are we talking about something broader than that when we're talking about the problem?
Yes, because if you think of microplastics, you know, you've got your microplastics. From microplastics, you can get something even finer, which is a microfiber, and then ultimately you can get something even smaller than that, which is a microfragment. So you've basically got 3 tiers of understanding, or 3 tiers of the challenge.
And do they have different? Well, we don't know. Maybe. I was thinking, are they different levels of problems with those different tiers? Or?
I think yes. They'll. I mean, I don't
fragment.
know. But yeah, a fragment. I mean, we're getting so tiny there. You know, when we talk about how we're actually stopping this from getting into the environment, you know, some of the kind of capture methods are using filters. Those filters are going to have to get smaller and smaller, so the complexities in doing that becomes more and more difficult. And also, you know, the thought that some filters are then going to be counterintuitive to some of the processes that they're attached to.
So you said, when I asked you true or false or not sure, which you didn't follow my instructions, by the way, which no one ever does. You said that we're 100% sure, I believe you answered, that microfibers, or what we're now referring to more broadly as fragments or such, are harmful to the environment. Tell us more. What is the impact? What is the problem?
I'm not a marine biologist, and I'm not going to try and pretend that, you know, I understand their world. But you know, a lot of the research that we took our starting point from was from the marine biology world, and I think where a lot of the concerns were the impact to marine habitats, to fish, and to what was happening in the marine environments. And we've seen some shocking pictures of what's actually happening there, whether it's the actual microfiber itself that's found, you know, in the belly of these marine animals, or whether it's the chemicals that have come as the microfiber as a carrier, bringing those chemicals in, are then found in other parts of that fish and whatever. So we've seen a lot of academic research that's kind of demonstrating the impact at the marine level.